Haze piece is all about grinding, and today I will be ranking and showcasing every single devil fruit according to their grinding abilities. So whichever devil fruit is good for grinding, it will go in the best tier, and the ones which are bad for farming will be going in the bad tier. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get right into the video. Starting off, we have the clear fruit, and this one is gonna be going in the bad tier. As you guys can see, this devil fruit only has one ability, and the ability is basically useless for grinding. So for that reason, I cannot rank this any higher than the bad tier. Next up, we have the spin fruit, and this one is gonna be going in the bad tier as well. Same goes for the spin fruit. This devil fruit is very bad for grinding. It only has one ability, and that is the flight ability. So yeah, it's basically useless. Moving on into the spike fruit, and yes, this is definitely going in the bad tier as well. This devil fruit has two different moves, which yes, they can be used for farming, but it is very difficult to farm with these moves, and to be honest, I would definitely go for something else. So for that reason, please do not use the spike fruit for grinding. Next, we have the bomb fruit, and this one is definitely going in the usable tier. As you guys can see, the abilities, they are actually pretty decent for grinding, and you guys can definitely use the bomb fruit for farming. But of course, there are a lot better devil fruits than the bomb fruit in this game. Moving on into the chop fruit, this one is going in the usable tier as well. As you can see, the abilities, they are actually not really that good, but they deal a good amount of damage, and that is the main reason why I'm ranking this devil fruit in the usable tier. But yes, let's move on into the barrier fruit. This is also going in the usable tier. As you can see, this devil fruit has pretty decent moves and also has a decent amount of damage. So for that reason, the barrier fruit is definitely staying in the usable tier. Next, we have the Kilof Fruit, and I am gonna be ranking this in the bad tier. I think it's not really that good for farming. As you guys can see, the moves, they are not really that special, and also they do very little damage. So it's basically useless to use this devil fruit. Oh, and if you guys still haven't, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, since I am very close to hitting 25,000 subscribers. Moving on into the paw fruit, this one is going to be going in the usable tier. As you can see, the moves are actually pretty decent, and they also deal a big amount of damage. But honestly, I think I would rather use something else for grinding than this one, since Haze piece is basically all about farming levels. Next, we have the smoke fruit, and yes, this one is going in the usable tier. As you guys can see, the moves, they are very good for farming, and also they do decent amount of damage. So this devil fruit can definitely be used for farming. So with that being said, let's move on into the sand fruit. I'm gonna be ranking this just equal to the smoke fruit. As you guys can see by the abilities, they are quite similar to the smoke fruit and basically deal the same amount of damage. So with that being said, both of the fruits can be used for grinding, and they are quite decent. Next, we have the string fruit, and this one is the first devil fruit which is going in the good tier. This one is very good for farming. As you can see, all the moves, they are very unique to normal devil fruits, and they actually deal a lot of damage to these little enemies, which is very good for grinding and especially saves you a lot of time. So with that being said, let's move on into the mammoth fruit. This fruit is undoubtedly one of the best fruits for farming. As you guys can see, the abilities, all of them have very good range, and also they will deal a lot of damage, which is obviously very good for grinding. So it is definitely going to be staying in the best tier. Next, we have the Buddha fruit, and this one is definitely going in the same tier as the mammoth fruit. This is probably the strongest devil fruit for grinding, because all these small enemies will not be able to hit you guys, which is just very strong. And just imagine you guys do not have to worry about health while you are grinding. So with that being said, let's move on into the next fruit. The snow fruit is actually pretty good for farming, and I'm gonna be ranking this just above the string fruit. As you guys can see, all the moves, they are very different from generic devil fruit moves, and they also deal a lot of damage. And the best part is that this devil fruit has a lot of range, so you don't have to worry about chasing down your enemies every single time. You can just stand still and spam all of your moves, and eventually you will end up defeating all the enemies and completing your quest. So with that being said, it is definitely a pretty good devil fruit for farming. Moving on into the Quake Fruit, this is definitely a very good devil fruit for farming. As you can see, all the moves, they have decent range. Also, they deal a lot of damage, which is very good for farming. But the thing is that this devil fruit is quite expensive, and for the beginners, it is actually pretty difficult to obtain. So for that reason, I am going to be ranking this in the good tier, not the best one. Next, we have the gas fruit, and this is definitely going in the good tier as well. It is actually a very good fruit for farming. As you can see, all of the moves, they are very unique and very good for farming. And also look at this ability. If you guys use this ability, you guys will be running super fast, which actually helps you guys go get the quest and then come back very fast. So that essentially saves you guys a little bit of time. So overall, I think the gas fruit is a very solid fruit for farming. Moving on into the gravity fruit, I am definitely ranking this in the good tier. It is a very good fruit for farming. Just look at the moves, man. You guys can just stand at the quest and use your long range abilities, which will basically do the quest for you, and you won't even need to move a little bit. So it is definitely a very good fruit for farming. Also, if you guys want to see the video where I'm ranking all of these devil fruits according to their PvP abilities, you guys can click the card up here, and yeah, it will take you to that video. But first, watch this till the end and then go on into the next video. Okay, moving on into the flame fruit. This is definitely one of the best fruits for farming. As you guys can see, this devil fruit has very strong abilities and also does a lot of damage. And especially look at this fireflies move. You guys can just sit back, use this move and kill the enemies, and you guys don't even have to move a little bit. So for that reason, the flame fruit is definitely going in the best tier. Next, we have the light fruit, and this is definitely going in the best tier. A very good devil fruit for farming. Look at these moves. They are very fast, they deal a lot of damage, and also this devil fruit has the fastest flight in the game, which is just very good. And especially for the new players, you guys have to travel around on different islands, so this devil fruit is literally perfect for that reason. So with that being said, let's move on into the control fruit. This fruit is very strong, but it is based on PvP more than farming. Like, all the abilities have single targeting, so you cannot hit multiple enemies with one move, which is obviously very bad and wastes a lot of your time. So for that reason, I am going to be putting this in the good tier, but for PvP it is a top tier fruit. Same goes with the ice fruit. This devil fruit is more PvP based than for farming, and all the moves are very single targeted, so you cannot hit multiple enemies with one ability, which at the end of the day wastes a lot of your time. So for that reason, the ice fruit is going to be staying in the good tier. Next, we have the lightning fruit, and I'm going to be ranking this in the good tier, just below the flame fruit. As you guys can see the moves, this devil fruit is very good for farming and also for PvP as well. But look at the V move. You guys can literally aim that wherever you want, and you guys can kill multiple people with that very easily. So lightning fruit is definitely a very solid fruit for farming in this game. Next, we have the rubber fruit, and this one is definitely going in the best tier, and I'm going to be ranking this just above the light fruit. The rubber fruit, especially in the first gear and the second gear, it's not really that good for farming, but once you guys hit the gear 4, it just becomes insane for farming, and you guys can easily level up with this. But the most important part is that in the next update we are actually getting gear 5. So that is just going to be making this devil fruit top tier, and probably one of the best fruits for farming plus PvP. So for that reason, I cannot rank it any lower than the best tier. Next up we have the Magma Fruit, and I am going to be ranking this in the good tier. I think it doesn't deserve to be in the best one, but definitely a very solid fruit for farming. Next we have the Darkness Fruit, definitely going in the best tier. Whether it is farming, PvP or whatever in the game, this devil fruit is very strong. Just look at the moves. You can easily one-shot all the enemies that you are farming, which will basically make your grinding very easy and very fast. So the Darkness Fruit is definitely one of the best fruits for farming and also for PvP in Haze Peace. Next we have the Mammoth Fruit, and this is the latest fruit which they added into the game, and they made it really powerful. As you can see, all the moves have a very decent range and they also do a lot of damage. And also just look at the last move, man, it is so freaking cool. So with that being said, the Mammoth Fruit is definitely a top tier fruit for farming. Next up we have the Phoenix Fruit, and this one is definitely a very solid fruit for farming, and I'm gonna be ranking this just below the Rubber Fruit. As you can tell by the moves, they are very clean and also have lots of range and damage. So whether if you are using it to PvP or if you are using it to farm, it is definitely one of the best fruits in the entire game. Lastly, we have the most broken fruit in the entire game, the Dragon Fruit. Very solid for farming. It might be just a little bit higher than the Buddha Fruit, but it is extremely difficult to get as well. Just look at the moves. This one move will actually kill all the enemies you need for the quest. So definitely Dragon is one of the most strongest fruits in the game, and especially one of the best ones for farming as well. So yeah, this is the tier list. If you guys found this video helpful, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are very close to 25,000 subscribers. That would be very cool and epic. So please hit that subscribe button, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.